People of God, y'all doing all right? I'm doing fine. It's so good to see y'all out there. This is me. It is today is Monday, and it is another show that we're going to see what we can handle. This is the SNAP issue here. This public aid and WIC and all kind of things that will be affected at the time of this recording. The government has been shut down for a few. How long now, y'all? Did we break the record yet? It's been down for a while. And there are those who are working, have to go to work at the airports and still not get paid for it. And probably there is no so-called furlough. There is no monies that they will recoup. They won't get paid back pay. If you leave it up to Donald Trump, he doesn't want to pay them back pay. So they're just going to have to resume work or continue, not resume, they already at work, just continue work when the government finally reopens and start all over again, as if it's their first day at work. It's a sad situation. And I want to talk about this SNAP, these payments finally running out, and how is it going to affect those people, and how is it going to affect you? See you in 60. You're good. Don't stop. Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say.
Sirwalterj.
He's got something to say. Sirwalterj.
Report live 7 days a week, always on time, but this time is not free. Sirwalterj, always on fleek. Latest trending topics had you jumping out your seat.
He's got something to say.
Come on in, boys. The water is fine.
Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj show. I'm here. It is the evening edition, baby. Come on in, Water fan. Y'all doing all right? Good to see you all, you bunkers in the comment section, and those of you who are visitors to the show. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you like, and thumbs up if you want to, or thumbs down. It doesn't matter. The algorithm is going to know you're here anyway. Because when I get through with this show, yeah, you're probably going to do that, depending on how you pull the lever when you went voting. All right, I'm going to talk about the President of the United States in this show in a very not so pleasing manner, as I have been for the past, since he said, I swear to tell the truth. Well, no, that's the wrong swear. So it is the end of the month, and we got one more week in October this week, and then come next week, Monday, or this weekend, whatever, November comes, and there are a whole lot of people, about 42 million people, I think, is on this SNAP thing, and they will not get paid, and it's the worst time of the year because it is the time that people are typically celebrating holidays like Thanksgiving, Halloween, if you're into that. And what happens in November will affect Christmas as well. But outside of these holidays celebrations, we need to talk about the day-to-day thing, which is everybody deserves a hot meal. And the government is playing in y'all's faces, and they're playing Russian roulette with people's livelihoods. All right. So I want to play some video here, look at some websites, and get you all ready for what Donald Trump want is the purge. And if you can't see that, it's already bad enough you decide not to watch the news, and I get it. It's just depressing. It's depressing. But you got to stop being cowards. You got to stop being cowards. At least get the highlight once a day at night, or get the highlight from the night before, during your break or something. Get a highlight, something. 15 minutes a day at least, so you can get caught up, because how can you be a Christian? How can you be a believer and you don't know what's going on in your backyard? I'm not saying you gotta pay attention to world events, although you should, because it's difficult to teach eschatology if you don't know what's going on outside of the United States, because the eschatological teachings of the scriptures ain't got nothing to do with the United States. So you really need to be studying world events. You need to be studying the world financial markets, which is at the precipice, at the peak. It is the soup du jour. The financial market is extremely important for you to know, because that is what destroyed nations. The weakening of the dollar, or whatever their currency is. Rome imploded. Had a lot to do with their finances. The United States is imploding. Has a lot to do with our economy, whether it's Wall Street or Main Street. You understand? So pay attention to your purse string. With that being said, we're going to figure out what's going on with the ridiculousness of you turn on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and you see a whole lot of people saying, I'm going to rob and pillage. I'm going to steal food because I'm on public aid and I got 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, and I need my check. And y'all going to see a whole lot of videos out there, and many of them will be shown to you by those on the right, the conservatives, white evangelicals, what have you. And they're going to say, look, and it's going to be 99% black people who are saying, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to rob, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be the greatest scare tactic you have seen in recent history. You understand? That's going to be happening on your YouTube channels and on your social medias. If you haven't been seeing it, you will after I say it, because the algorithm is going to show it to you. All right, because I said it. Get ready for the hype. It's going to be a lot of it's going to be hype. I discovered a man by the name of Jake Day. He's got 143,000 subscribers here. I've never heard of him, but I enjoyed his content here because he's a Trump supporter. He's a conservative, but he says something that is different. And I think he is the he's a how can I say this? Based off of what he does for a living, he's the better person to listen to than just somebody who thinks they know what's happening in these communities and those people who are SNAP recipients. All right. So let me play this as he's rebuking this woman who's talking about, she's talking about black folks, really she is. All right, let's see.
If I see you making videos about how your kids won't have a Thanksgiving this year because you're about to lose your SNAP benefits, but you have your hair done, your nails done, your lashes done, your lips done, and your forehead is frozen as, well then, it has nothing to do with the fact that you're losing these benefits and you can't feed your kids. It's just that your kids aren't your priority. I am sick of hearing this narrative. Now, do SNAP benefits affect a certain portion of the population for people who genuinely need these benefits? Yes. And I feel awful for those people. But my thing is, the amount of people who are on our benefit system through the government that genuinely need it because they have no other way of providing food and a shelter and benefits for their kids, it is such a small amount of people.
Where's the data for that?
Right there. All right, I'm going to stop this. If I had just played that portion right there, most of you would have said, wow, she is absolutely right. All right. Okay. It is the same reaction that that I got when I said that the Center for Disease Control said that more black men are in children's lives than almost any other race in America. And when I showed that study to you people on my show a few years ago, it were the black women who said, I do not believe in that study. That's ridiculous. And my reply to y'all was, it's because you look at your personal situation and you threw a wide net and said, it must be happening in all single mothers' houses, that the man is not in the home, which means he's not in the child's life. You understand? So we typically see the world or our country through our own lens. And we see it through our culture and we see it through our religiosity. So we just assume that what this woman said is absolutely true across the board, even though she brings no proof, no stats, no numbers, no nothing. You understand? No data. And that's how easy it is for content creators to, and these people making these videos to just pull you in, because the church is just as guilty as that. No data. All right? So it was easy. And if this video, which it was, played on the conservative media, and if it's played on Fox News, which are mainly middle class, upper class, not middle class, but middle age, middle class as well, but I'm talking age-wise. Young folk typically don't watch Fox News, but it's typically middle to all the way old folks, because you can tell by their commercials. And they always selling gold. All right. And they go to one source, and this video will be played. And I think either this woman or another woman got fired for saying what she said. She got fired on her job. So the CDC did the study, and the women were like, I don't believe in it. But everything else I showed in the CDC, they said, I agree, and I agree, and I agree with that. But when the CDC showed about the men, the black men in their lives, they were like, that can't be true. That's your story. But a father don't have to be in the house for him to be a part of the child's life. He does a drive-by. He pick up the child. Y'all have dual parenting, you understand? Or you drop the child off at his house, what have you. But he is mostly in the child's life. I can't help what's going on in your family. But until you check the data, you're going to always walk around thinking. You understand? So let me see what he says here.
There are required
providing food and a shelter and benefits for their kids. It is such a small amount of people.
Where's the data for that? There are requirements by the government in order to get these benefits that you have to meet. This is something I hear repeated on the right all the time. I am in the unique position of being a conservative Trump voter who has multiple businesses, been a conservative my whole life, but I've also worked with the state and I've worked in the system, these social programs. I have a company that worked in the foster care system, and I have a business who currently works with Section 8 housing. Are there people who take advantage? Yes, there is. Is it the majority? No, it isn't. If you think it is, please provide some data, because there is no data to prove that.
Such a small amount of people. The majority of the people who are riding this system have been doing it for life, and they don't know anything else. They don't.
Once again, this is a false statement. Much like unemployment, there are people who come in and out of SNAP. The majority of people are on SNAP for less than 2 years. In fact, I can show you the data on this. 26%.
All right, and before he showed the data on this, it is important that you understand this, do the study, because the problem with her is that everybody is going to listen to her, and then they're going to pull back their bowels of compassion. It will wax cold, because they're going to say, I'm not going to help these people, because all I'm doing is I'm coddling these people who are going to just have more babies. They're going to go to the store and buy chips and cookies and all unhealthy stuff, which a lot of them do that. All right, to satisfy the child. And I'm just helping in the obesity rate and all this stuff. So they pull back their giving for this and not check the stats. It is unhealthy to do that. I read the comments from I did the show yesterday, and I read some of the comments, and I was disgusted by some of the comments, because some of the comments were people who didn't send me no kind of stats, no kind of data. I was telling y'all, encouraging y'all, help the people. Why are you worried about, like the immigrants who are coming here? All right, they're here now, whether they're illegal or not. They're here. What you gonna do with them when they're here? You still got to feed them. You worried about ICE. You worried about calling, the proper authorities. You worried about deporting and all this stuff. But what you gonna do while they're here? What would Jesus do? I'm wondering.
Participants leave within 4 months. 52% leave within 12 months. 67% leave within 24 months. Now, this is going to be different for families with children. The typical time on SNAP is about 12 months. Elderly people who are living alone, the typical time is going to be longer, 51 months. It makes sense that they can't work as much. Now, if you don't have children, you have stricter requirements, which should be the case. Adults aged 18 to 49 without children who are not disabled must meet work requirements to receive benefits and face a 3-month limit if they don't.
They don't know any other way to live life other than to live off of government assisted benefits, which is horrific because all the rest of us have figured out a way to live life. All the rest of us have made good decisions to not have children when we couldn't fucking afford it. And
That's not a good decision. And we got to...
Not a good decision. Now, he forgot to bleep that word, but he bleeped a lot of the other side. I think he got lazy and he just let her cuss after this, all right? And now he said something shocking here. All right, let's go back. And you tell me if you agree with him or not, because he said something very shocking here.
Stop telling people.
all the rest of us have made good decisions to not have children when we couldn't fucking afford it. And
That's not a good decision. And we got to stop telling people to stop having kids when they can't afford them. The prime time in your life to have children also corresponds with when you have the least amount of resources. We are on a trajectory where women will be making more than men in the future. There are already more women enrolled in college than men. They will have higher wages. I have no problem subsidizing the women that want to be moms with our tax dollars, because most of those tax dollars will be coming from those women who chose not to have children. Congratulations, you played yourselves.
good decisions to not have children when we
Do you all agree with what he said there? I mean, he said a very serious thing here. I'm going to go to the end and play some history that he brings up.
couldn't fucking afford it. And I'm sorry, but I'm tired of funding everybody else's lifestyle. I am tired of making good decisions for myself and having to pay the benefits for everybody else who didn't make good decisions in their own life.
You have made good decisions for yourself. All I'm seeing from this woman is somebody who has decided to judge other women because they've decided to create the future.
Again, are there people out there who made really good decisions and were just put in really shit situations and ended up in a
majority of them.
situation where they can't afford shit? Yes, but that is such a small portion, such a minority portion of the individuals who are utilizing our system and are bitching about it right now. Make good decisions. Make good decisions. Have a little bit of savings where you can afford your fucking food. Sell shit. I'm sorry, but if I see you driving around with a car that has leather seats and you are complaining about how you can't afford to feed your
Used vehicles with leather seats aren't going to raise the cost of the vehicle. And if you have children, you're going to want leather seats.
That's true.
Or leather. You're not going to want cloth.
That's true.
Because they're hard to clean.
get a car that doesn't have fucking leather seats. You can sell your car, even if it's paid off. Fucking sell that shit. Get a hunk of junk.
And a lot of these people who, before they got on Snap, they already had these things, all right, and they don't just sell them because they need to get back to and fro. There are people who are obviously on Snap who are working as well, and Snap is a supplement, so they still need the car. She's throwing her net is too wide.
That'll at least get you from point A to point B and fucking figure it out. Stop getting your hair done. Stop getting your lashes done. Stop getting your fucking Botox done or your lip filler done.
Okay, Botox and lip filler. Now she's talking to white people who are on public.
Jesus Christ. Pick up a second job. Find remote work if you can't afford to take your kids to daycare.
Okay, here's another unorthodox opinion, but if you're a single woman, it may be worth your while to invest in your looks. You will find a higher value man.
Like, there are so many.
Only a man would say that. And he's right. Why do you have to look disheveled because you're poor? Why do you have to look like you are poor? Why do you have to put on sackcloth and ashes? Huh? Why do you have to look like that? You can still beautify yourself inexpensively and be poor. Especially if you are a bachelorette and you're looking for a good man. Well, you've got to look like you worth something. He's right, y'all. He's completely right. I had to laugh at that one.
jobs out there. Build a skill. You have your phone. You have the internet at your fucking fingertips. Because if you can post a video, I know you have internet, which means you can develop a skill that can earn you the income to afford these basic fucking necessities. And just to see people give up on life and be like, I just got to live this way. I'm going to blame Donald Trump. I just got to live this way. It's a wild mindset.
Have you ever said no when somebody asked you if you wanted to hear something cool about Nazis? Me neither. Did you know that the Nazis used to incentivize having children? They would give you 9 months worth of pay. I think it was like 1,000. Actually, let's see. Starting in 1933, the regime provided interest-free marriage loans of up to 1,000 Reichsmarks, RM. I don't know how to say that.
Reichmark.
9 months equivalent of pay to Aryan newlyweds. Forgiveness based on children. For every child born to the couple, 25% of the loan was forgiven. And having 4 children meant the loan was completely discharged. They also gave out medals to women who would have children. If you had 8 or more children, they would give you the first class gold cross, this bad boy right here. Or you could get the silver cross if you had 6 to 7. And then if you had 4 to 5 kids, you would get the bronze.
What I'm starting to realize is the people that want to get rid of food stamps thinks that the people that are on food stamps are just making this ridiculous amount of money. I have a degree in computer engineering, so I might not know much, but one thing I know for sure is numbers. This is the maximum amount per family household that families are getting in food stamps per month. This is the maximum amount per household that people can make while being on food stamps, meaning that this is the maximum amount that they can work and make while also receiving food stamps. If we just take the average family, the 4-family household, the maximum they can make is $4,421 a month. Let's just say this is a 1-parent, 3-kid household, because if this is a 2-parent, 2-kid household, that means the parents are combining to make $25 an hour. That equates to $53,000 a year. Let's just say that their rent is $1,000 a month, which nowhere you can find.
I'm going to be honest. If you have kids, I would prefer for you to stay home and be a housemaker, potentially even having another kid.
He's right there. I mean, the potentially having another kid is questionable, but I too would prefer you being at home. If you have a child now, you feel you got to go to work. I would prefer, if we can afford it, that you stay home and be a mother for a period of time and then go back into the workforce. I know that's difficult today opposed to the way it was when my mother was small. She was able to stay home. The cost of living was obviously lower. And she was, my father told her don't work because he wanted her to take care of the children, raise them. And she did a great job. It turned out 9 amazing children. We all love God. We're saved. Many of them are preachers and pastors and intelligent people. All right. My mother played a big part in that. Okay. And so I agree with him. Now that may sound like a male chauvinist, but I could care less what you say about us. The numbers just don't lie. When the mother is constantly in the child life, especially after birth. Moses' mother was given back. Moses was given back to the mother for weaning for 5 years, y'all.
While your spouse goes and works and makes a higher wage because you won't have 2 people working from every household, and therefore the wages won't be suppressed.
Average rent is $1,500 to $2,000 a month, depending on the state. But let's just say they're paying $1,000 a month per rent. That's $12,000 a year that they have to take away from this $53,000 pre-tax. The government needs its 25%, so really 25% of that is gone. Let's use real numbers. For a family of 4 making $53,000 a year, they're bringing home about $44,000 after taxes. You still have to pay for rent, which we said was $1,000 a month. So now they're at $32,000 for the year. They have to pay for their car note, which is about $400 a month. They still have to pay for their car insurance, which is about $200 a month. They still have to pay for gas, which is about $30 a week. But we're talking about a family of 4, so they're driving a lot more. That is $8,640. Let's just round up to $9,000 for oil changes and any other car maintenance that might have happened throughout the year. Now we're down to $23,000 for the year. What family of 4 do you think can survive on $23,000 a year without any government assistance? We still have to pay for a light bill, water bill, internet. Mind you, this is a family of 4, so light bill alone is going to be about $200. Water bill is about $100. Internet is going to be about $50-$60. Let's hope they don't live in a community that requires a gas bill as well. They need phone bills $150. Let's hope that their kids aren't old enough that they need phones as well. And if we round up all the utilities to $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year.
And right there, somebody going to say they don't need phones. Well, phone is not just a luxury thing. It is now a necessity. It has been a necessity for many years now. A cell phone, especially if you got children and you're a mother, all right, or if you're a father, single father. I know we always talk about single mothers, but single fathers too. Many of them are on Snap, and you need a phone for emergency purposes or for your job, or, for communication. You need phones, and sometimes a child may need a phone as well, especially if the child is of a certain age where they're now able to watch themselves at home. Then they need a phone. So you got those people who are ultra conservative says, well, they don't need no phone. Well, you don't need one either.
We're now at $17,000 a year for this family of 4 to survive on. I have not talked about buying clothes for the children, non-perishable items, trash bags, toothpaste, lotion, school supplies. We don't have no streaming, no TVs, toilet paper, dish detergent, washer and dryer stuff. I have not talked about any of that stuff. We're living off $17,000 for the year for a family of 4. Any medical scares, dental, vision, let's just hope the children are healthy. God forbid this family of 4 gets $996 a month from the government for food. Oh my goodness, it's the end of the world. I don't want my taxes going here.
Trump has been bragging about all the income that's coming in from the tariffs. Where do we want that income going? Do we want that income going overseas to fight wars? Or do we want that income going to support families?
And there you have it right there. That was a good broadcast, y'all. Where do you want that money going? Because what country, you all, did he just bail out with those billions of dollars? And what president is tearing up the White House now to build a ballroom with it's going to cost $300 million. That is $300 million, and it keeps going up. All right, and from people who you shop at, Amazon, y'all. Yeah, I just placed an Amazon order just a few minutes ago. These places that you shop at is supporting this thing here. Are y'all gonna boycott Amazon? Not a one of you gonna boycott Amazon. Amazon is your merchandise god, lowercase g. You will never boycott Amazon. You boycott Target, and they fired all these people, but you ain't boycotting. See, y'all are hip to the crits. Argentina, y'all. Y'all something else. And so somebody in the comment section yesterday was talking about, well, many of the presidents did some remodeling at the White House. Yes. So somebody put in a bowling alley. Obama put a basketball court. All right. All of the things that was happening in the White House was done inside. Not one of them tore down the White House. They didn't tear down the wing. You know how big the East Wing was? He tore the whole wing down. No president has ever done demolition to build something that won't help us no way. And even though the private fundings were coming in from all of his oligarchs and the guys who are afraid of him, and once they get it built, now it's got to operate. And guess who's got to pay the expenses on this ballroom, y'all? Huh? Yeah, take a wild guess. That's right. I see y'all sample and Pitts is putting up Amazon is laying off 80,000, 30,000 corporate employees next month. They laying them off, y'all, laying them off. All right. And so let me see if I can find how maybe you all are missing something else. And that is wealthy people receive public aid. Maybe y'all didn't know that. You know how many rich people receive public aid, subsidies from the government? Millions of them. Let me show it to you. And if you were wise and smart and looked into what the big guys are doing, maybe you could do it too. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Google. Okay. Rich people receive government aid primarily through tax breaks, subsidies, and policy advantages. Rather than direct cash payments, although some have received direct stimulus checks. Y'all remember when the stimulus checks came during the pandemic? Y'all remember that? And the Ruth's Chris and the Macaroni House, or whatever you call that restaurant, and all these big restaurants was getting thousands of dollars of stimulus from the government, and the small mom and pops were not getting much at all until it went viral. And then Ruth's Chris and a couple of the other big stores like Cheesecake Factory decided to give the money back to the government because they were embarrassed. But if it hadn't gone viral, they was gonna keep that money. The big stores, the big box stores, the wealthy stores, and wealthy Americans receive government handouts. You gotta know it. If you don't know it, I'm sorry to tell you. Yeah, grill. Yeah, that grill. The macaroni grill. That was it called. Oh, they was getting that money, y'all. They was getting that money. Rather than direct cash payments, although some have received direct stimulus checks, examples include lower tax rates and capital gains, y'all. Capital gains. I do my taxes every year. I know all about that capital to the gains. Good to see you, Joseph Phillips. Deductions from interest on assets like yachts, y'all, and grants or loan guarantees for corporations they own. Why do y'all think Trump wasn't paying much taxes? Hardly at all, because Trump received government payments, handoffs, or tax breaks or subsidies, policy advantages. And then he would file for bankruptcy. The system is set up for a guy like him. As the government is shut down and nobody's getting paid from the government, the Congress is getting paid. Congress give themselves a raise every few years, and Congress did not miss a paycheck. Not one of them. This is third world country. This is some third world country stuff here, y'all. So here goes some of the breakdown here. Tax deductions. Wealthy individuals can deduct expenses like mortgages, interest, and second homes, which can include yachts, sleeping quarters, kitchens, and toilets. You all could do this too. Set up an LLC and act like you're rich. Set up an S Corp and act like you're rich. Okay? You could do this too. Lower tax rates, incomes from long-term capital gains. Some of you don't like the stock market, but if you understood the stock market, it's not that hard. You can gain. This long-term capital gains is taxed at low rates than ordinary income. Some tax loopholes and breaks are also disproportionately beneficial to higher income earners. We got that. Good to see you, Dwayne Hammond, my silent bunker. Here goes the exemptions. Certain income from renting out property for a limited number of days per year is not taxed, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. My friend in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, a little town called Yuma, I think it is. You know, he owned a transportation business. And limousines and buses, what have you, and then he had his business, and then he had his home, and he was paying himself rent and writing it off. I sat with him and said, "This is how you do it. This is how the rich stay rich, and this is how we don't pay all these taxes. This is how we get subsidies, because I own this business, and so now I got all these write-offs and these benefits of a tax exempt, and I've got cushions of what have you, and I pay myself a salary from my business, and I live in my house, and I pay rent to myself." Because the business owned the house and I pay rent. And when I pay the rent, I write the check to myself. You understand? This is how they do it. This is how they do it. And it's all legal. So right here, corporate and investment related aid here. Corporate subsidies and price supports and bailouts and interest on government debt. All this stuff, y'all, it's been here for a couple hundred years. You could benefit from it. Other aids and stimulus checks, in some cases, wealthy individuals who meet certain criteria, such as temporary drop in income due to business deductions, have received direct stimulus checks, y'all. You got needs-based programs, all right? While most needs-based programs like SNAP are not designed for the wealthy, look at this. Some high net worth individuals have shown that they can qualify for certain benefits like food stamps if they do not meet the asset limits in their state. Did y'all know that? Your profit and loss financial statement, if you operating at a loss, then that's the less tax that you pay. You don't have to pay. I mean, and operating at a loss is a benefit for many. Okay, look at how affirmative action was set up to help African Americans and other minorities get to places even though they qualified. All right. It was due to meritocracy, not just because they were black, but it was because they were black and their merits. They were able to get into places like PWIs, predominantly white institutions like Harvard or Yale or what have you. OK, and then we realized that many of the white and Asian women were benefiting from affirmative action. And you're like, how is that happening? Because they know the loopholes. Like homosexuals benefit from the civil rights movement of that 1964. Why? You got to be smart and read. All right. And instead of just sitting there being keyboard warriors, utilize this. So I was looking at many of the benefits. The rich get government handouts just like the poor. They gave 10 reasons here. Number one, ways. The mortgage interest deduction for big houses and second homes. Number two, the yacht tax deduction, which I said. Number three, rental property. If you're a landlord, which you probably aren't if you're very low income, you can deduct many of the expenses you would incur renting a home, including repairs, advertisement, HOA fees, mortgage interest. And if you happen to rent out either your first or second home from 14 days or less, because, for example, Augusta National Golf Club is hosted by the Masters nearby, you get to just pocket all the income without paying taxes on it. You understand? That's number three, rental property. Number four, fancy business meals. I get a receipt everywhere I go. My business, my LLC is SWJ Media. Y'all see it at the end of the show. And when I go see the bunkers, I get a receipt if I pay for their meals. And that's going to be part of my business, my exempt at the end of the year. Talking business over an expensive dinner, that tax deduction, deductible to a fact that puts taxpayers spending on food stamps into relief. And this is a good deal for, say, a CEO presiding over actual filet mignon at a 5-star restaurant. Scott Klinger, now the Director of Revenue and Spending Policies at the Center of Effective Government, explains how it works. All right, I'm not going to explain it because it's going to take too long. Number five, the capital gains tax rate. Now, that's a big one. Taxes on investment dividends and capital gains currently match. Now this is a little old here, but we can talk about that later. We can go to Patreon for all this stuff. Number six, the estate tax. Number seven, gambling loss deductions. Number eight, Social Security earnings limits. Number nine, retirement plans. The federal government incentivizes retirement by allowing you to reduce your taxable income by saving money in 401k plans or your IRAs. But employer-sponsored retirement plans only benefit those people with employers that offer them, so largely not people who work in retail or fast food sectors. And the benefit for IRAs doesn't help people who have no money left over for retirement after they pay their living expenses. So in total, about 66% of these retirement subsidies go to the top 20% of taxpayers. Less than 1% go to the bottom 20 retirement plans. And number 10, tax prep. If you have hired an accountant to help you sort through all these taxes breaks to make sure you maximize them, which the wealthy are much more likely to do, you get to write off the expense. Y'all, I just don't think y'all understand what I'm trying to say here. Now the rich get public aid. They just don't call it SNAP. So let me tell you the plan of Donald Trump. The shutdown was something that he's been wanting for a long time. He's always wanted this because he needed to practice on you all through what's called the police state. He'd been trying to get rid of, and the Republicans been trying to get rid of SNAP for a long time anyway. And WIC and Medicare, Medicaid, they've been trying to get rid of that. So the government shutdown was a blessing in disguise for them. So then they can hold it out. Uh-oh, I'm tearing up my house. They can hold it out, and the Speaker of the House can send the Republicans home so that they don't have to come and vote. The woman from Arizona who won the special election, he won't swear her in because then she would be the deciding vote for the Epstein files, and all this stuff is a plan. All right, so this is the plan so that there might be an uprise in violence in your cities and towns. Hear me. There are going to be a lot of people who don't get that check, who are going to be tearing up these grocery stores. And a mother will kill so that her child can eat. So you need to be careful while you're helping people. You critical thinkers out there, listen to me. You can't help everybody. Number two, especially the homeless. Because what we're dealing with here in these tent cities are not just people who are homeless, but people who are struggling with mental illness. And these homeless people are killing not just themselves, but people who are helping them. I've approached a few of them down through the years who wanted to attack me just because I gave them $1 and they asked for $5. So the governor, not Pritzker, but a couple governors before him, shut down many of the mental health hospitals and centers that took care of these homeless people who struggled with mental health. Shut them down. So where were they going to go? So many of them had to commit crimes in order for them to go to jail so that they can get the mental health. Because the jail is the second place where more mental health medicine is passed out in outside of hospitals. The jails, the pharmaceutical companies love the jails, whether it's private or public. So you have to be careful how you go out there and try to help people, because you could get hurt. You understand? Ladies, don't be a superwoman. Protect yourself. Watch where, especially when you go into the gas station. You got to stop leaving your purses on the seats, leaving the door unlocked, all kind of stuff. And you just willy-nilly. You got to be more careful. You got to put your purse under the thing, up under the seat. You got to lock those doors, put your phone in your hand, and be vigilant when you're gassing up that car. Do not get out of the car until you look around. I'm a man, and I do that. Do not get out of the car to gas up until you look around. I don't care how much that sun is out. All right? Because they're doing it in daylight. Look around. Get out of the car. Take your keys. Don't have the car running. Turn it off and lock the car. And then gas up after you look at the perimeter. Some cars, like mine, when you lock it, it locks the gas can, the gas thingy as well. So you've got to make sure that you get out and open the thing and then lock the door. And then you gas up and look around. Keep looking around. Grab your whatever you got. Just hold on to it. And if you are licensed to carry, carry. I know that you all are going to say that Jesus said, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. This is true, but let's look at that in context, because the disciples asked Jesus for swords if they can go and buy them. And Jesus said, go and buy the swords. And they went and bought swords and brought it back. And then he said, that's enough. You've got enough. It is for self-defense. You're not going around shooting up everybody, but you need to protect yourself. So for those of you who are conservatives who think that we people are against guns, no, we are not against guns. We're against fools with guns. So if you can carry and it's legal in your state, you in certain places, I'm sorry to tell you, you're going to have to strap up. This one preacher going to tell you, you probably need to strap up right now until this stuff blow over. And if you can't carry a weapon, get you something that legally that you can have, like mace or a taser. You may need it. You understand? And come home to your children. So don't be going out there trying to talking to everybody. I know, because the bunkers, y'all are very nice people, but you can't approach everybody now. You can't, because they're going to take advantage of your niceness. All right. So when y'all going to the grocery stores, don't be buying up a whole bunch of stuff and have 2 carts and rolling up. You can't. They're gonna do a run on you. You understand? They're gonna do a run on you. So if you got to buy stuff in small amounts where you can carry it in 1 or 2 bags, and get your behind in that car as fast as you can. This is not something that I'm trying to scare you on. I'm trying to get you back home to your family, because it's about to get crazy. We've never seen this before. 40 million people are going to be without. That's too many people out there who are hungry, who will do anything in their mind to get food home to their children and food in their own bellies. And in the scriptures, we saw too much of this happening where there was no food and they began to boil their own children. This is America, y'all. You would have never thought it got to this place. But you need to get back home to your family in one piece. You understand? So stop walking blindly and say the Lord is going to protect me. Well, yeah, he can protect you, and he probably will protect you, but be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. Watch and pray. Be vigilant, all right? Just get in that store and don't be in there very long, and get out. Bring someone with you if you can, all right? But just don't be sloppy. Get home to your family. All right? Don't be so religious that you out there speaking in tongues and laying and pouring oil on everybody and all that stuff. Listen, God bless you, but get your butt home. You know your town. You know your area. And when crime will go up. I know these Democratic cities were bragging about how crime went down. Well, Donald Trump made sure that crime goes up. The Republicans make sure that crime is going to go back up, because they shut down the government, not the Democrats. The Democrats was trying to save you all some money. You all who are on Medicare and Medicaid and all this other stuff, they were trying to save on the subsidies not being removed so that your bill won't double. That's why they was holding it up. All right. So I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a liberal. And the things that the Dems do gets on my nerves. Absolutely gets on my nerve. But I know when they are trying to help you or when they're trying to hurt you. They're trying to help you now, and the government had to get shut down. Now I'm asking them if they would do whatever they can to get back in there, do these votes, and get the government back open, because we're going to have to worry about them subsidies later. Y'all going to have to talk in the back room, but you need to open up this government, or you're going to see Gestapo tactics in the streets. Let me see. Gestapo. Let me see if I can find a definition so y'all understand what Gestapo is, because Donald Trump wants a police state. He's sending police and ICE and military into the cities, mainly Democratic cities, because he hated his enemy. That's what he told Charlie Kirk's wife and that whole audience. He hate his enemies, and so he because he has the string, the pull of because he is the lawman. He's sending the law into these cities to practice. So he wants a type of purge to happen in these especially democratic cities. He want crime to rise. He hate the stats and the numbers right now. He hate it. So he wants it to rise. He don't want people to get back on aid so that he can be justified to send them in there so that he can cause this Gestapo. Let me show it to y'all so y'all see what this is. Gestapo tactics refers to methods of oppressing and control used by the Nazi secret police, characterized by arbitrary arrests, torture, and the suppression of political and ideological dissent without due process. And these tactics include widespread surveillance, the use of informants, and the detention or disappearance of political opponents, ethnic minorities, and other targeted groups in concentrated camps. What's going to happen if this continues is that we're going to go back to a type of early 1700s where they didn't have a military, they had what was called a militia. And these militiamen were people who weren't really trained the earlier days. It were just people, just commoners, or they just wanted to protect their country. What's going to happen here is that, and still happening, that those who are joining ICE are not trained, and they got the nerve to put on full regalia, military outfits and uniforms, what have you, and they're not military. They were not trained in military, but they just said they made a call. They said, hey, we'll pay your student loan off if you join ICE so that you can do something that you've always wanted to do, go after your enemy, the Mexican. And if an African American get in the way, detain him. So it's turning into a militia where these untrained individuals are going to come to your towns and Gestapo. Y'all better hear me. Arbitrary arrest and detention. Individuals were arrested and imprisoned without judicial process based on suspicion or opposition to the Nazi regime. Suppression of dissent. The Gestapo systematically targeted and eliminated opposition, including political opponents, trade unions, religious dissenters. Oh man, religious dissenters. Y'all, that's coming. And other ideological enemies, because Christian nationalism is what they want. All right? Surveillance and informants. These tattletales. While relatively small, the Gestapo was effective through its use of a large network of civilian informants who reported on fellow citizens. Disappearances. The night and fog decree and other measures led to many political prisoners simply disappearing while in Gestapo custody. Gone. And then they're going to say they committed S. You know what that is, right? Because Brother Man was in jail and then they said he committed persecution and violence. The Gestapo was a key instrument in the persecution of groups like Jews, Sinti, Roma. Y'all know who Romans are, right? Romans are the let's go to homosexuals, disabled, and primary agents of Holocaust. But the Romans are the gypsies. Whole bunch of them. I did a paper on the Romans for last year for a research paper. And when I studied them, I was blown away by how much they are hated. This is what he wants. And if this shutdown continues, this is what he's going to get. It's about to get ugly, you all. So I wanted to do a part 2 to tell you to protect yourself at all costs, especially you ladies. That's it. McCarthyism, Joyce Sample. Protect yourself at all costs because they're coming after you. Get you a pouch for your key fob. All right. We've talked about a lot of this stuff a couple years ago. All right. Let's see. Let's go to Amazon. You get you a key fob. Okay. Right here. Get this for your fobs. For those of you, I purchased mine September of last year because we did a show on that. All right. You can get a small, medium, or large one. It's only $7. Put your key in there. This way they won't be programming a lot of people getting their car stolen and trying to figure out why. It's because you have a bad habit of when you walk into your house, you put your key fob at right near your front door. So the thieves have the machine that they stole from the key lock guys, the stores, the manufacturers. They break into these car dealerships. They steal the machine that gets you copies of keys, fobs, and they go in front of your house and they do this, and they know you put your key near the door, and they reprogram your ignition, the keys. They make their own keys and they're gone. You understand? The fob, the pouch, blocks it with an RFI chip. What they call that chip? What is that thing? It's a signal, RFID. Yeah, that's it, signal blocking. It blocks it so that they can't do that. Another thing that I found was a great product is a wheel lock, but not just the typical wheel lock, but I found this item that I just purchased, and you don't know when things work. You don't know if they work until somebody tests you. It is a, okay, I'm looking in my cart. Where is, okay, here it is. All right. This is a great item for those of you who don't like that big bar for a wheel lock. And what y'all should call those things. It's tedious, it's clumsy, but this item here, and they're not paying me for this. This is a great item right here, y'all. It's a rope. It's hard for them to cut through this. And you wrap it around your steering wheel, and this right here is your seatbelt buckle. It goes where your seatbelt buckle goes. Click! It locks in there. And over here is where the key is inserted. Once you lock it, click. You have to you can't get into it unless you put the key on the other end and unlock it. You understand? This is a great item here. Yeah. It's only $30. Okay? And that item is good for people who just don't, it's clunky, those little hard jacks, whatever you call that thing. What do you call that thing, y'all? It's the club. Yeah, the club, galore. It's just clumsy. This is, you can almost put this in a big bag. Okay, a big purse, that is. So if your preacher, your pastor, your elder, all right, if not telling you how to be careful and all they doing is leading you into a whole bunch of spiritual talk, then I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry. And yeah, Lord, come on down and say, Lord, don't lose the key, right? Because if you lose that key, you got to bring somebody in. But you have to put the key on with your fob, so you should be all right. Whatever you buy, you don't want to lose the key, or you're going to have to find a way to get it off. But you all can ignore everything I say right now until it happens to you. You can say whatever you want and ignore all you want to. But you're going to be replaying this show and then trying to look for information on how. If it don't happen to you, it may happen to somebody you know. You got to stop walking in this world blindly. Ignore the hype. Ignore the comments of people who are kissing Donald Trump's behind. They're going to be in the comments section. You guys got to just stop fighting with people who just are tribal. They have, what's that syndrome I keep forgetting yesterday? They do. They have this Stockholm syndrome. They have herd mentality, and they cannot smell this man when he passes gas. I was nicer this time. I'm a man, and I'm taking these precautions. I teach my daughter to take these precautions as well. You understand? My son already knows. Because this is what he do for a living. He drives for a living. So I've seen his stuff. But you all got to start looking out for each other. Now, let's again go back to do what we were talking about yesterday and finding a way to feed these people. The food banks are running out of food, you all. So when you're not working, whatever you can do, if you can leave the house, leave your belongings at home. That's good, Colette. You got a good pastor. If he's doing that, praise God. Ladies, when you walk out of the house to go and help and volunteer, leave your valuables at home with the hopes that you have a safe at the house too. You really should have a safe at the house. Go to Patreon, and I told you all which kind of safe to buy. All right? I believe it's in the finance room. All right, just type safe in the search bar. Leave your valuables at home and leave with just an ID. All right, just an ID, and maybe a not debit card, a credit card, because at least with a credit card, you have better insurance with credit cards than you do with these debit cards, because these banks ain't trying to give you nothing back if something should happen to you. And get those cards where you can turn it off if you get lost or stolen. But don't be leaving with a whole bunch of stuff. Stop leaving the house looking like you got a whole bunch of money. You gotta be smarter. We know you want to look good, but you ain't gotta look like you a millionaire, because millionaires don't look like millionaires. How often you can count how many times you've seen Mark Zuckerberg wear a suit, Elon Musk wear a suit. You can count how many times you've seen these guys wear a suit. And the only time you would see them wear a suit if they was going to the White House or if they were being grilled by Congress. Other than that, rich people don't look like they're rich. But poor people do. Poor people look rich. But the world can tell you just poor. You just trying to act rich. Come on, Linda, keep your ID in your breast purse. When I was in when I was in Paris, I had my my passport with me, and Pitt said Warren Buffett look like he's homeless. I had my passport, and I was getting ready to leave it at the hotel because I didn't want to carry a whole bunch of stuff. And the Holy Spirit said, "No, you're not. No, you." that freaking man right there. I cannot stand this man. Holy Spirit said, put that in your pocket, but put it somewhere where if a pickpocket come by, he can't just pick it. Put it somewhere like maybe in your sock, That's going to be uncomfortable, Holy Spirit. Put it in your sock. You're in a foreign land, and you're going to leave the only way out of this country is this. You take this wherever you go. I'm like, okay, Holy Spirit, you lead and guide me. And I took it and got on the bus and the train and went down into the Eiffel Tower. And I met up with the Bishop of France, Kodrick, France. And we all were standing around. And he said, Walter, I'm going to ask you a question. Because he speaks fluent French. And I'm going to ask you a question. I said, yes. He says, I ask all of the people who come here on our mission trips. He said, where is your passport? I said, wow, Holy Spirit, you are so good. You are so good. I said, it just so happened. Bow. He said, that's it, sir. That's it. He said, I've been traveling the world. He's traveled to, I can't even remember how many countries he's been. He says, wherever I go, I never leave this behind. I keep it on my body. Because we've been places where we couldn't get back to the hotel. We couldn't get back to the camp. We couldn't get back to the tent. The guerrillas, those men, those what do you call those militia, whatever they call them guerrillas, and they won't let us back over there, and we got to get out of this country. The only way out. You've got to be wise, smart, because you want to get back home to your family. Y'all understand? So find a way to get down to the soup kitchens and the pantries and volunteer. They need volunteers and they need cash as well. So for those of you who can't volunteer, go straight down there. Don't mail it. Go down there and either write a check or give cash to the administrator or whoever's there in the kitchen. Give that to them so they can buy food. All right, go down to your food depositories in your city because they need food, money, and volunteers. All right, they need all three. Whichever one you can do, please do it, because people have some of these places have already ran out of food. I was watching a YouTube video, I think it was CNN, where this pantry ran out of food the first time in 40 years. Let me see if I can find it. Is this it here?
Joining us now, Lynette Lau, the Executive Director of Central Louisville Community Ministries, which supports 13 different neighborhoods throughout the greater metro Louisville area. Lynette, thank you very much for joining us. I was just reading today what I find to be a shocking fact. For the first time in more than 40 years, one of your food pantries in Louisville, Kentucky, ran out of food last week.
That's right. Last Tuesday, the Calvary Episcopal Food Pantry, which is our affiliate pantry here at Central Louisville Community Ministries, for the first time in almost 50 years, actually, had to close early because they ran out of food. The last bag that they packed had a birthday cake and some plums in it,
wow,
which really puts a whole new meaning to let them eat cake.
Wow.
Really astonishing.
So how does that happen? Is it because the demand is increased, or is it because you weren't getting the normal revenue, the normal funding that you get from the government?
So the Calvary Food Pantry in particular is an independent pantry, and they fund the pantry themselves, along with a lot of partners in our community and fundraising that happens. And really, it was a matter of demand outpacing what they had available on that day. I'm glad to say that they were up and ready to open again the very next morning. But you can see from some of the pictures that you just showed just today, those empty tables were at the end of the 2 hours when we were serving.
Look at that.
So
there was one loaf of bread left there.
Yeah. I wonder, what do you attribute the rise in demand to? Is it just that everything is getting more expensive, or is it because of the shutdown? A combo?
There's no black and white answer or solution to any of these issues. It is a combination of all of those things. It feels like a perfect storm for our vulnerable neighbors right now who are experiencing the higher prices that all of us are experiencing in the grocery store, but also everything is more expensive. Rents continue to go up. Insurance continues to go up, utilities go up, transportation, right? And so folks who are particularly vulnerable, folks who are elderly, who are disabled, who have young children at home, folks who are on fixed incomes, they simply cannot make it. Right, the addition doesn't add up. You can't continue to stretch when your resources are limited. So that's a big part of it.
Right there. All right. And Denise said something very important. Do not let people know that you stocked up. Don't do it, please. Or your house gonna get broken in. All right, they're gonna find a way in there. These Hollywood, these stars' houses are being broken in. They got mansions and great security systems, but they finding ways to unarm the security systems, and they breaking in. They gonna get in your house. Don't tell everybody what you got. You remember the toilet paper fiasco during the pandemic? How people were crazy over toilet paper? Can you imagine how they're going to go crazy over not having food? People went crazy because they couldn't wipe their behinds. And it wasn't a shortage. There was no shortage of toilet paper. It was a what do you call that? It was a false alarm, but it was too late. It was too late. So here's what you need to do. Here's what you can do. Those of you mothers who didn't teach your daughters how to cook, here's your opportunity to try your best to do a accelerated class. Because a lot of people who are on this kind of aid, because they got it, they don't really know how to use it. So for years, they just didn't study the art of cooking in small, inexpensive ways that can actually give you a hearty meal that can fill you up and your whole family. My mother, I don't know how she did it, but I know for a fact on many occasions the pantry was empty. They had a few cans in the pantry and the refrigerator. I didn't see any meats in the refrigerator. I don't know how she did it. And she said, leave, go outside, go play. Dinner will be ready in an hour. And I went and played on my bicycle and Walter. You know, back then there was no phone. So the mama just yelled at you. You could have been 3 miles away and your mama would have yelled your name and you heard them and you came home. I don't know how we did it back then. And I came home when there was a full meal. 2, 3, 4 courses. And how was this possible? And dessert? I know when I looked at the pantry, there was nothing in there. I don't know how mama did it. So what you all have to do now is teach them. You can go to artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, go to YouTube and type in inexpensive meals for the whole family. It's amazing what you can do with a can of soup. Okay. And some of y'all who are, thank God for the older saints there, y'all are good at that. It's amazing what you can do with a box of Jiffy. Okay. And find ways, a loaf of bread, and some spam, some pickles, lettuce, whatever you got. It's amazing what you can make a sandwich out of that will feed your family inexpensively. All right. So you can help people with their groceries, but the best thing to do is teach them how to now start cooking inexpensively, and you can feed them for a whole week by teaching them how to prepare their foods and keep going back to the stores, because many of those people on public aid kept going back to the store. Some mothers were going to the store every single day. Like how we used to do, we would go to the gas station and put $5 in the gas back in the day. Y'all remember that? And then drive around, and then sometime the same day we putting $5 back in there. I didn't realize how dumb we were. All right. So teach them how to get protein so that it can stick to the body and get some meat on the bones. And you can do that through, I think, Elaine, the peanut butter, whatever you can get protein out of, and teach them how to make these meals for the week. And you freeze that stuff. All right. And you ain't got to keep going to the stores every day. It's ridiculous. And the stores love to see you every day. And because every time you go in there, you don't go in there for one item. You go in there hungry. They're hoping that you are an impulsive buyer. That's why they design the stores the way they do. As soon as you walk in, you smell the freshness, the bread and the food and what have you on the right side, and the fruits and the vegetables, all that's over there. All of the perishable stuff is on the right side, and then you go down that first aisle. There are all of the kids' cereals, and it's always on the floor on the lower level because they know these kids are small. They riding in the cart, and then they mama, and they pull all that unhealthy stuff out there, and all the healthy stuff. Those stores are designed for impulsive buying. You understand? So get you a big old pot of beans. Act like you in the Navy. All right? And teach your daughter and your son how to make these meals, and then prepare them and put them in Ziplocs and whatever y'all do, and freeze them. And then every day you just go in there and then you thaw it out and you put it in the microwave, and that's a meal right there, because it's going to be a tough ride, y'all. If this continues, it's going to be a tough ride for a lot of people. My concern are these babies and these seniors and those who are on disability, who are disabled, that is. And they need these SNAP payments to help them. My concern are them especially. So don't believe the hype, you all. Go back to the beginning of the show if you just got here and listen to how we check the hype, falsities of these YouTubers and these TikTokers saying that everybody on aid is robbing the system. It ain't like what it used to be, y'all. There are term limits now. Since the time I was on aid back in the 80s, it's term limits. They ain't playing. All right, so teach them how to fish, and you feed them for a lifetime. All right. Thank you all for your continuous prayer for my father, who's battling cancer. He's been weak these past few days, and he's too weak for chemo right now. All right, so you all got parents who've been through that. You've got relatives, and maybe you've been through that too. So you know how to pray. I ain't the guy to tell y'all, shh, just unspoken request. No, shut up. I'm going to tell y'all what's going on so you know how to pray. Pray for his appetite so that he can eat, so that he can enjoy food again, and he can get his strength back so that they can give him the treatment that he needs. He's at a really good place here in Chicago, one of the great cancer centers in the country, if not the world, is right here in Chicago. And I trust that they'll do what they do. I actually had a kidney removed at that same place when I donated my kidney. They treated me like I was a king. All right. So it's a really great place to be. So thank God for the wisdom of these doctors. There is a cure for cancer out there. I believe it from the bottom of my soul. I believe that there is a cure for cancer. It's here in America as well as around the world. It's here. It's big business. Like tithes and offerings at your church. It's big business to teach you that you need to do this or else. Not curing cancer is big business. Big business. And there's so much holistic things, so many amazing stories of people who were on stage 4 cancer, and they walked away from these hospitals and got these holistic treatments and just beat cancers behind. Oh, there's a cure. And it's being hidden from you all, from us. One day God will reveal it. I believe it. All right. So God, we thank you. I thank you for the people who are here. I thank you for the ones who are doing what they can to help those who are in need. Give them wisdom and keep them safe. We don't know what's going to happen. And we bind these lying prophets because they're going to come out and say all kind of stuff to mislead the saints. But we've got to lean on you through Holy Spirit. Help us, God. Show us wisdom. And be vigilant as we go out in these streets to help the poor and the needy, the hungry. That is the weightier matter. We're leaning on your wisdom to show us what to do. And I believe that you will protect the bunkers as they do what they can to help their fellow man. So we thank you for the strength. And we thank you for sending your son. That is what we lean on as we go day to day to do the Great Commission. We love you. Well, we give your name the praise in Jesus' name. Thank God. Amen, amen, amen. All right, y'all. I got to go and put some food in my belly because it's growling right now. I thought your dad rang the bell, was cutting. Yeah, Arthur, he did. He rang the bell. And as you know, Big C don't like it, and the devil don't like it either. Big S don't like it, and so it crept back in, and it was trying to take him out. The thing that we have is an alarm goes off in the body, that God puts an alarm in the body, and that alarm is called pain. Y'all remember that sermon that I did spontaneously a few months ago? Somebody put in the comment section, thank God for pain. Thank God for pain, because if it wasn't for pain, my father would not have rang the bell the first time. Because even though he was having the pain, he was ignoring it. And thank God for my sister being there. Said, no, we taking you there. And that's when they discovered it. Pain is an alarm that goes off and tells you there's something going on in this body. Get the help that you need. Ding, 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 ding. Some of you have a high tolerance of pain, so you ignore it. Stop ignoring it. Thank God for even the shivers, that you shiver like that and you get those goosebumps. Thank God for the shiver that warms your body up. It tells you something going on. Thank God for the sigh. Because that tells you that you're not breathing. You need oxygen in your lungs. Thank God for the itch. Thank God for the scratch. It tells you these are alarms that God has put in your body. Thank God for the pain. Go get the help. There is a balm in Gilead. He's coming to heal your soul as well. So we thank you for the wisdom, God, that you've given us and these people. See you tonight. No, see you tomorrow.
Tag your virtual neighbor that will have lost it at the sight of. Just go to the next video.
Oh, listen now, is I said, I'm
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?